An interesting situation, and I decided I want to share it with you because I think it's relevant for several reasons. Now, one of these situations is from the community where I live, and the other one is from a celebrity. So clearly, I am going to show you the screenshot for the celebrity, but not the one for the private group. Now, if you've ever been to a Facebook group or a neighborhood or anything like that where you have people from the same community all talking together, there's a chance that you've seen quite a bit of drama. And so I don't necessarily spend a lot of time on those pages, but I do like to keep them because they will tell me what's going on in town or if there's an event, when I have to be there, that kind of thing. So I keep tabs on the town where I used to live in and the town that I live in. I'm in both groups. And because they're in the same general area, basically, if they're in the same county, you can pretty much get away with joining every group because they know that you hang out in that area. And so I went this morning and they were talking about this construction project that is in progress. We just opened a supermarket, but you can tell that there's something brewing right next to it. And somebody brought the information forward. And one of the things that was being brought forward was a Dollar Tree, Dollar General type of store. And people were furious because, oh my God, why do we need more of those stores? Now, mind you, less than 2 months ago, the one that was in downtown closed. And people were saying, oh my God, there's a lot of people that have needs in that area. And why did we close that store? Blah, blah, blah. Same people, these same exact people that were complaining about a spot getting closed were the same ones that were complaining that the store was going to open over there. Now, let's keep it in perspective. When you live in downtown, you walk everywhere. So it was very easy for the people with modest means to walk to the Dollar Tree that just closed. So the complaint was legit. But here's the thing. That other Dollar Tree is not that close to my house. I actually have to get in a car and drive there. There is no bus service to that area unless they're planning on changing it once everything is constructed. And that could take a couple of years after it's open. And so it's not that convenient for people of modest means. However, there is a thing called, I want to say, oh my God, I forgot the name of it. But it's this system, gentrification is the word I'm looking for. I just remembered it. And it's this whole thing that I'm seeing with my own eyes where houses that were $100,000, $200,000 worth have been tweaked a little and all of a sudden are $500,000 and $600,000. Now, the area where I live and the area between me and that space where they're going to build that Dollar Tree is full of houses that have something that have been lost in modern neighborhoods, and that is the charm of difference to me. You see houses in every possible color, every possible shape, from bungalows to colonial to Sears catalog houses that have been tweaked a little. Every possible combination you can imagine, and every single house is different, even if they were built more or less at around the same time. Now, you have a lot of prefab houses, which I don't have anything about prefab houses, but the problem is that they all look the same. And so very close to that area, you're beginning to see the very nice houses that are maybe not as expensive being replaced by these prefab houses that, of course, then bring the budget up ridiculously. The market is beginning to self-correct. I don't know how much longer people are going to be able to sell houses that not even 5 years ago sold for $200,000 and are now selling for $500,000. I don't know how long it's going to take for the market to correct. But the reality is that we don't live in downtown Orlando. We don't live in a big city. In fact, if you drive by both the town that I used to live in and the town that I live in now, if you drive and you blink on the highway, you'll miss it. That's how tiny these towns are. So is it worth it to have these $1 million budgets when in reality, no, it isn't. It really isn't. We just saw it here in closer to me in downtown. They built, I don't know, it was like 20 townhouses, and they're selling for almost $500,000. And the reason why is because it's in downtown, because they don't even have a view to the lake or a view to the fields or a view to anything. They're in the middle of downtown, but because they're going to have a hotel in front of them, oh yeah, let's price them at $500,000. Makes no sense. But the reason why I'm bringing it up is not because I wanted to talk about gentrification or the prices going up or anything like that. The reason why I wanted to bring it up, and I'm not really saying the part, but I think you can understand that if you have modest houses that are being replaced by $500,000 houses, you know the people that lived in there before are not the people that are going to live in there now. That's what I meant when I brought up gentrification. I don't know what that sound is. I apologize. I guess it's one of my neighbors doing something. Anyway, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because you have these people complaining about another dollar store, Dollar Tree type of store opening because it brings the value and the type of people that come here down. And these people are literally living across the street from people that cannot afford anything else. Not only that, but as a person that loves shopping in all those stores, I can tell you from personal experience and the fact that I used to work in a department store, that most of the stuff that you pay $2 for, be it at the Dollar General, the Dollar Store, the Dollar Tree, or if you go 5 below, just so you know, it is the exact same quality and the exact same type of stuff that you buy in a department store for $20 or $30. So the only fool here is you. Just letting you know that right now. So when I saw the amount of people complaining about that particular store being brought here, oh, well, how many stores of that nature are we going to have? I've driven all over the United States. You guys know I hate flying. I've driven from Florida all the way to Maryland. When I lived in Maryland, I used to drive to Connecticut. And we've also driven from Florida to Texas. We're about to drive from Florida to Colorado in the summer. And we have 2 trips. Well, I have 2 trips. I have a trip to South Carolina and another trip, I think it's to Alabama coming up. All of this is driven because I refuse to get on a plane. I drive by all these towns and I see how many Dollar Generals there are. I don't care if it's a rich area or a poor area. Pretty much every single one of them has 3 or 4 of those in their little town. So having 3 or 4 of those in the same town, yeah, no, that's not the flex. And then the best part about this is, I don't know how many rich people you know, but real rich people, it doesn't matter if they got it from their ancestors or if they're new rich. People who actually value their money don't spend it on crap. They are willing to go to the Dollar General and the dollar store. And I can tell you that because my godmother, God rest her soul, was the heiress to a fortune back home in Puerto Rico. She was very well off. And when I tell you she was very well off, well, let's just say she was very well off. I'm not going to go into the details, but I can tell you that this woman was, number one, she was completely, from the beginning of her life, she was bred in private schools with like monja, I don't know how to say monja in English, nuns, and her education was the top back in Puerto Rico back in her day. She was, I mean, you could see it in the way she acted. But if you looked at her, you couldn't tell how rich she was because she wasn't one of these people that has to flaunt her wealth and buy the tracksuits with the big names. She did not wear anything that had a label in it because, and I learned this from her, why am I going to wear a label and pay to advertise you for free? Which I've always said about, you know, certain influencers who love to boast about their Coach bags and their Louis Vuitton and all this other stuff. You're paying those people $2,000-$3,000 so that you walk around being a billboard basically, and they're not paying you. How does that make sense to you? It has never made sense to me. And by the way, this is not a now problem. This is a historical situation. In the 80s, we had the same issue. Okay? So, having said all that, let's go back to the post that I saw. So the people were complaining about the dollar whatever coming to town, right? Now, the funny thing is that for every 10 comments against it, you would see one person, why do you have a problem with that? I love shopping there. Clearly, and I have to wonder if the people complaining are trying to keep up with the Joneses more than they actually have money. Because people who actually have money are savvy enough to go shopping where they can keep their money as long as possible. So let's fast forward to, I don't even think it was an hour later, I jumped from Facebook to Twix, right? And, oh my God, Ozzy Osbourne's daughter, I forgot her name. You know who I'm talking about. Kelly Osbourne, is talking about Ozempic. And you might be thinking, well, Ozempic has nothing to do with this. No. Hear me out. She's talking about how, well, why do something boring like exercise when you can just take Ozempic? That's not the right attitude, first of all. Even drugs that are designed for losing weight, which, by the way, Ozempic is not, will tell you to take care of your diet and make sure you exercise. So on that alone, she's wrong. But let's take it down a notch and realize what she's saying. Because she said something to the effect of, why do something boring like exercise? And then she goes and says, well, the people who are hating on Ozempic is because either they're secretly taking it or they wish they could take it, but they can't afford it. See where I'm going with this? I don't know when it happened or where it happened that we have completely lost the plot on what is important, what isn't, how to stay connected to each other. And people blame social media. No, it's not social media. This has always happened, but it's getting worse now. Another example I can bring you. Right now, I literally just came from, I did a TikTok video, and if I remember, I'm going to play it here for you guys without the music, obviously, because Trump got a judgment for $355 million or something like that. I can't remember. When you add the $90 million he has to pay in interest and whatever, it comes out to almost $500 million. Okay? $500 million. And Robert Cardone's wife, I don't even know if I have the names right, but Cardone's wife made a GoFundMe to get the money for this thing. And it is sad to see, because in between the $1,000 and $2,000 donations, there's literally hundreds of donations. There's 1,400 donations as of the time that I filmed this. Out of the 1,493 donations that have been done so far, they have been able to collect $56,000, but most of them are from people that are donating $5 and $25. People who are directly negatively impacted by the laws that Trump enacted and is going to enact if he becomes president again, okay? But I don't care about that part. What I don't understand is when we as a society come to the point where we're willing to stab ourselves in the eye to let some millionaire get everything. Where did we become so disconnected? And this is on both ends. Because like I said, the people in my neighborhood are well off and are complaining about a cheap store that benefits most of the community. You have Kelly Osbourne complaining about people hating on Ozempic because exercise is boring and people who want to do it is the reason why they're hating on it. Never mind the fact that Ozempic was not designed for weight loss. It was designed as a medication for people that are actually sick. And if you use too many of those pills for other uses, how much are you leaving for the people that are actually sick with those conditions? Plus, things that get popular tend to go up in price. So what are you doing to the people that actually need the medication? we completely disconnected from the reality that most people should exercise and eat right in order to get rid of the weight. Then you have the people who are not rich, who are probably not even middle class, donating money to a literal millionaire, because even if he doesn't have the amount of millions that he claims to have, he still has a couple million somewhere. They're donating to that guy who broke the law, but because they think it's a what is it called, election interference, I think it is, I don't remember. They're donating to this man. Mind you, this man interfered with the Obama election. He kept asking Congress to investigate Hillary and put her in jail. He now claims that he has immunity because he was the president. All of these things are improper, but he's the one who's the victim. And you have people who don't have money for tonight probably sending him money because the millionaire needs more money. So we have a complete disconnect between the poor, the middle, and the rich. Have we always been that way? And I make an observation on the TikTok video where at the end I show some scenes of historical events that prove that there's always been a disconnect, like the Inquisition, the Spanish Inquisition, Egypt building using slaves, and other events. Oh, the circus, the Greek circus. Is it Greek? No, it's the Roman circus, sorry. The Roman circus. And I can go on and on and on talking about events where the classes are so separated that they don't see each other as human. And they don't see education as important. And they want to gatekeep education. Are you seeing that right now? Probably. Here is where I have to ask the question. Do you understand, for example, that celebrities are people just like you and me who go to the bathroom every morning when they get out of bed and brush their teeth and pee and poop and do whatever? Do you understand that we all at the last moment, when it's all over and we're dust, right? And they find your bones and they find the bones of a celebrity, are they going to be able to tell who is who just by the fact that there's bones there? No, they're going to have to do all this stuff to figure out the faces with the skeleton and whatnot, if it's still there. But if you're just dust and somebody else is dust in another pine box, do you really think that you're that different? If you get shot and a millionaire gets shot, then you both get shot in the same place. The only difference that there might be between the two of you is how good his medical is going to be compared to yours. But in reality, let's say there is no medical insurance, no hospitals, you're both bleeding. You guess what's going to happen? You're both going to end up the same way. You know why? Because we're all human. And sometimes we are so involved in the heat of the battle and how these people are horrible and these people are even worse and blah, 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 that we keep missing the fact that at the end of the day, we're all human. We all have certain needs and certain wants, and we all should be working towards a certain goal. I'm going to give you another example, but this is for another video, but I'm going to make a little here. The other day, I had a conversation, for lack of a better word, with somebody on Twix, because this person was talking down on people because of their race and ethnicity. And then I look, and it turns out that person is Latino. And they're talking like they're white. And y'all, if you've been here before, you know that I don't consider myself white. I would never consider myself white. At best, I'm multiracial. But I personally consider myself more criollo, which is Taino, African, and European. Okay? This person obviously thinks they're white. And I make the comment to some of my friends. I'm like, you know what the funny thing about this is? That it really doesn't matter what they think. Even if you look like me, you still have an accent. You still speak Spanish better than you speak English, because I do. Unless you were brought up here fairly early on and you forgot Spanish, you do speak Spanish better than you speak English, especially if you still live in the island. And if there is some kind of situation, some kind of situation where people are going to judge you based on race, you're going to die because you're not their race. So you can keep sucking up to them, but you're not going to be them. So I said, we don't claim so and so, right? And so the funniest thing about this for me is this. We have black people that go against the grain of the black community in general, and, you know, the Clarence Thomas, the Candace Owens, people like that. We have Latinos who think they're better than the rest of the Latinos because they might be a little lighter skin. This is true in every marginalized community. I mean, when you have gay people that are opposed to trans people, because according to them, and I'm still laughing, I know this is serious, but this just made me laugh so hard. Because according to them, the trans agenda is an attack on gay and lesbians and bisexuals because they're trying to conform them to either a black or white, meaning male or female. I can't make this stuff up. I'm telling you because I lived it and I have the screenshot somewhere. I don't think that I'm going to post that screenshot on this video. But bottom line is that I hate that I keep saying bottom line. The thing is that all of our marginalized communities, and this includes women, by the way, as a marginalized group, all of the marginalized communities have a certain amount of people in their communities that go against the grain. And what I mean by that is that they are willing to do anything for the ruling class. And some of them, because of their money or their prestige or their education, think that those things are going to catapult them into the ruling class. And what they don't understand is that when they're not needed anymore, they're going to be disposed of because they're not needed. That's why it's so important to fight for the rights of every single community that is not the ruling one. Because at the end of the day, they don't care that you have been fighting for them. They will take you out of their communities. And I'm not necessarily saying that they're going to end you. What I'm saying is they're going to take you out. I remember, I don't think I'll ever forget this. I don't think I have screenshots for this, but I'm pretty sure you will remember this. When Trump won the first time, there was a couple, and I can't remember if it was in Texas, but they were very well off. Well, the guy ended up not being legal, even though he had been married to his wife for like 20 years. And they sent him back to Mexico. And he couldn't understand why Trump would do that when he voted for him. It's irrelevant if the person is Democrat or Republican. What I'm trying to tell you is that there comes a point where you're not needed anymore by the powers that be, and you're going to be disposed of in whatever way they see necessary. So fighting for people that are not your people is a waste of time, energy, and resources. And it makes it a lot harder for the rest of us to continue our fight for the rights that we deserve. But going back to the reason why I started this video from the beginning, we do have a disconnect, but it's not just the ruling class against the rest of us. We have the same disconnect against them. And I don't think we're going to get anywhere. Because there is an old saying that goes, divide and conquer. There is a reason why that exists. And every sign is right in front of us about how they divide communities in order to rule communities. You can see it in the states that are already passing laws to basically eliminate all your rights. You can see it in situations where, well, I thought they were Latinos, so I'm going to get them out of here because they're probably illegal immigrants. What? But that's what we're seeing. And we're seeing it because that's what they want. And it's sad that many of the people helping them are the same people that are in the same spot that we are. Because remember the example from Trump. Most of the people are donating $5 and $10. That's why they only have $56,000. If they had people donating tens, $20s, $30,000, why aren't the Cordones donating? Are they going to match whatever they get? Because supposedly they're millionaires, so they can donate a lot of money. So can some other friends of theirs. But you see, that's again a perfect example of using you until you're not necessary. Because the people that put Trump where he was, in other words, the presidency, they probably are starting to realize that they don't need him anymore. So they're not going to donate the millions of dollars to pay his bills, because that's not their problem. Once again, once you're not useful, they will get rid of you. I cannot wait to see what you have to say about this. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful day.